One specific event that foretold the horrors of World War II was the April 1937 bombing of Guernica. By 1938, Hitler's motives were clearer. In a move referred to as the Anschluss, the Nazis annexed Austria into Germany, despite the fact this also violated the Treaty of Versailles. Later that year, Hitler was appeased by both Britain and France when they signed the Munich Agreement. This allowed Hitler to overtake a German-speaking section of Czechoslovakia in order to keep the peace. In August 1939, Nazi Germany signed a peace treaty with the Soviet Union. However, the first official event of World War II followed soon after. Due to long-standing tensions, Germany invaded Poland on September 1, 1939.
By 1937, China and Japan were in all-out war, beginning with the re-invasion of Shanghai. Quickly, Japanese forces moved in on the capital city of Nanking in 1937, and America evacuated its citizens. The U.S. gunboat Panay and 3 corporate-owned oil tankers were leaving Nanking with the last of the civilians when they were attacked by the Japanese Navy. Now, in order to avoid a diplomatic crisis with the United States, Emperor Hirohito claimed that the sinking of the Panay was an accident and apologized. But Americans were further horrified by unspeakable Japanese atrocities carried out upon the Chinese capital in the coming weeks, an event known as the Rape of Nanking. So the United States passed economic sanctions against Japan and sent aid to China. By 1939, Japan's war against China was floundering, and the nation, now under the influence of a military mastermind named Hideki Tojo, looked for a way to combat American intervention. Suddenly, General Tojo saw the answer to his problems. You see, there were a lot of English, French, and Dutch colonies in the Pacific, and at the moment, it didn't look like the European nations were in any position to defend those colonies. If Japan could get control of some of them, Tojo would have the resources he needed to continue his conquest and prevent other foreign governments from supplying aid to China through their colonies. Japan formally made an alliance with Germany and Italy in September 1940, forming the core of what we call the Axis powers. Soon thereafter, Japan occupied French Indochina. Indochina is the nation we know today as Vietnam. Still, the U.S. refused to declare war in either Europe or Asia. Instead, the government allowed certain types of arms sales to its European allies and instituted a complete oil embargo against Japan. In 1941, both Germany and Japan wanted to discourage American involvement in their conquest schemes and weaken America's ability to fight just in case it did decide to declare war. So Hitler's submarines began targeting U.S. ships approaching England, and Tojo, now Prime Minister, decided to attack several U.S. possessions in the Pacific, including the naval base at Pearl Harbor. The world was at war again, and America had been pulled in.